All right. Hello, people out there. How are you doing? Thinker St. James here. It is the Friday Free for All stream where we're going to be going over the news and lore of MMA. With me to do that, as always, is the captain of this ship today, Chase Parton. How are you, sir?
Dude, we're awesome. I've been really excited for Friday because obviously last week was a fucking hit. I don't know if you guys were here. Make sure you go check out last week's because if you didn't know, I'm out here manning the fucking deck. Like this is going down on Chase's watch. So make sure you're here because this is a good time. So
I love it. You know, I'm constantly having to do all of these behind the scenes things and making the machine work at an optimal rate when it comes to the Yama channel. So every once in a while, your boy likes to just chill, sit back and let the show unfold for me. So this is a very exciting thing. I wait all week for these now. Now that I know that we're going to be doing them a little bit more consistently, I'm very happy about this and excited for today.
no, you should be excited, and everybody in the chat right now, you should be excited as well because one, the Mank is here. Two,
Hey.
Beeb is here, and he's talking about Rick Allen's two dads. And three, Rick Allen is actually here himself. He hasn't been here in a while, in my opinion. I don't know if he's just been lurking in the shadows, but if you guys didn't know, this is a very chat-centric part of our channel, so hopefully you guys take the opportunity to voice your opinions on what you're about to see because we're going to get into some interesting videos, and I really hope you guys stick around for the middle portion because obviously I can't give it all to you right now. So we're going to start slow. We're starting slow. So you ready? I'm going to give you the first one. This is easy, everybody.
Yeah, we're going to find out together here.
We're going to go ahead and get the roster updates out the way.
Okay.
So Irina Alekseeva, you guys knew this was coming. I mean, she's awful, and her last matchup was terrible. I mean, her last performance was terrible. The matchup, she was great. We'll see what she ends up being, but we knew she was going to beat Alekseeva, of course. Anything to say about that?
No, I mean, really, I save it for the end because really, like looking over this list here, if I had the soundboard that I have over at Vitz King's place, I would just be hitting the air horns on almost every single one of these, and Alekseeva is certainly one of them.
Okay, yeah. So let me go down the list. My apologies. So you got
Sure.
Alekseeva, Andre Muniz, Justin Tafa, and then Brogan Walker, of course. So these people did not have good records in the UFC, as you can see on the screen here. Nobody I'm really sad about. I mean, the Tafa, it's like, but we knew it was coming, guys.
Yeah, the only one that I would feel any type of way about is possibly Brogan Walker. Now, obviously, she did not do great in her last fight, but I think that there might have been a little bit more like that. I don't know. I think that she was at least a tough enough to possibly put on a decent performance. But if you're at that stage when you're where she is in her career and you're still sort of in that like, you'd have to get the right opponent for her kind of thing, then what's the point really? Because you just be wasting a fight on somebody else who's in probably the same position.
I think the one thing that I'll say, and maybe the last thing that I'll say, because there's not really much note here. Andre Muniz and Justin Tafa, they at least had decent, 9 fights, 10 fights in the UFC. That ain't nothing to squawk about. I mean, that's a decent tenure. Shout out to them for making it as long as they did. They didn't come in here 0-3 and 1-3 and then get booted out the UFC. They at least had a different couple contract signings. So shout out to them. Pen to paper at least 2 times.
Sure.
So, yeah. All right. Oh,
yeah,
anything else?
No, well, I mean, no, not really. I mean, I think that it's like if you had a tier list of these fighters as far as like who deserved it the most, I think that it's almost incorrect order. I guess is what's funny to me. Like, Alekseeva, absolutely. I was saying that on the last podcast. She is not UFC caliber. That's just apparent after the fights that we've seen. Muniz, he's not the worst of the worst, but he's extremely chinny. I mean, this guy gets knocked out by a stiff breeze. Tough is tough, but you take him down and he's not getting up again. And then Walker is almost in the same boat. Like, she's tough, but not skilled enough to hold her own. So good down the list as far as I'm concerned.
Can we confirm that Beeb is correct here? She missed
Yes.
weight and also popped for PEDs. Brogan Walker, possibly?
Uh that is news to me if that's the case. I don't think that
It
Walker
definitely
missed.
wasn't Alexiva. I can tell you
Yeah,
this for facts.
I'm trying. I mean, going back, thinking about that. I mean, if that was either one of them, honestly, it would have to have been not this previous card they were on, for each of them. But yeah, that's not immediately ringing a bell to me on either of them. So, uh, if so, then even more of an excuse, even more of a good reason rather to get rid of them.
100%. And I also would like to shout out Mank one more time. Yeah, they are a bunch of jobbers, but
I
one
see. That did make me laugh.
no, yeah, jobbers for sure. But one thing to note with this roster update when it comes to 2025, the coming into the conclusion, is that there is not one jobber named Jalen Turner that is going to be on the
Hey,
roster. I don't know if you guys noticed this one.
yeah,
Uh,
how about that? Jalen Turner deciding to unretire. This is a common trend, it would seem, with MMA, where you pull the Jay-Z. If you're old like me, you might remember that Jay-Z claimed that he was going to retire after the Black album, and very quickly came right back and started making music again. And it's like MMA, we see this constantly, it seems. You got guys who retire and then unretire almost instantly. And in Turner's case, very much so. I mean, he'd only been less than a year. I mean, I feel like we were just talking about his retirement.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of people just up and retiring and then coming back because, it just seems like a you went broke kind of quick moment. But this was also maybe I think like a mental health type of thing. Like Jalen was, just not in the right. He said he was struggling after the Hanato Moicano fight. And the Bobby Green fight, there was a lot of differentiating tension within himself. And so him taking the time off, warranted. And he didn't take long to realize, like, nah, I want to fucking smash dudes. Like, I want to obviously, maybe he's going to be a grappler now. Maybe he wants to be a jujitsu guy. Who knows? Maybe he's got a
Well,
new outlook on the sport. Go ahead.
all of that stuff though is exactly why this is concerning for me, because I do think that you're correct. I think that when it comes to Turner specifically, there were a lot of cloudiness going. There was a lot of cloudiness going on in his mind. But that being said, then you got to wonder. I mean, maybe he did some adjustments behind the scenes. Hopefully that's the case. But it's like you got to wonder if that's the mental state that you're able to get to, if you have the capacity to get to that place. What happens during the next spat of losses, if there are. I'm not saying that there will be, but my point is that, like, I worry about any fighter who has the propensity to get to that point, like coming back thereafter and thinking that the outcome's going to be different, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Excuse me. I agree. He was already 1 foot out the door and then he literally walked out the door. So now that he's
Right.
back in, I'm not really sure if he's not gonna, walk out again after the next one. He's gonna be like, well, this really actually I didn't, whatever. Who knows? Maybe it's
And
just a paycheck. I mean,
well, the
who
other
knows?
thing is that you don't need to full on retire. Like, especially when you're in Turner's position, like if it was like these are the things when it comes to the mental conflict aspect of it that is concerning to me, because it's like, you basically, like, you could have just taken some time off, but instead you said, I'm done. Threw your hands
Yeah.
up of it and said, no more, man. It's too much, blah, blah, blah. And then over time, it's like, you're sitting around and it's like, okay, well, no, man. I mean, I am that guy. I am that, you're like hyping yourself up. It's like, you could, like, there are different ways to handle it that might have been healthier if you wanted to come back and fight again. And I don't know, it just seems like a misstep of navigation and signals that there might be some remaining difficulties going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, I definitely would not be betting on a line that has Jalen Turner in it because of these factors, of course.
Yeah, obviously it depends on who he's going to be coming back and fighting. What's the booking going to look like? If they want to throw him a bit of a softball to get him back in the swing of things, that's fine. I would suspect that the organization goes the exact opposite way and says, you should retire. Okay, well, you want to come back? Yeah, we'll see about that, and just throw him to the wolves. But we'll see. We'll see what that looks like.
Yeah, that's probably possible. I definitely don't doubt it. But, either way, I wanted to bring this one up. I know this happened kind of towards the end of the week, I believe, but this went along with the roster update. So we wanted to throw this one in at the beginning. What happened at the beginning of the week, though, this was like the first thing after we did the Friday fight, fun time, whatever the hell do we want to call this thing, the free for all. And this one, it was like kind of a bombshell instantly right off the bat. We had to wait like 6 days for this. So I want to go ahead and show you guys that um, this was Mr. AJ Cunningham
Oh Lord.
getting mad for people calling him out for his Nazi Instagram stories. That's one hell of a tagline, by the way.
Well, so okay, before you start
Oh,
playing this
okay.
though, real quick, I just wanted to ask, did you see or is this going to set up with what the initial thing was? Because I know I had heard what I know of this story, just the only context that I personally have is that there were some stories that were questionable. And I never actually saw what was said. So do you know or what like the actual content was like? What was he actually putting forth in these
Okay.
things?
Okay. So I saw one of the stories, and I don't remember if I sent it to you or not because it's he's a weird dude. It's an interesting story, of course. So
Yeah.
it was a picture of kids at a LGBT parade, like waving the flags,
Okay.
and then it obviously had a child in a Nazi uniform, like as like the
Oh, like a
top and
split
bottom
screen.
split screen, and it
Yeah.
was like they something about they're mad at one group, but they love another.
Oh
It was,
no.
yeah. So it was something along those lines.
So
Don't
I guess
quote
my,
me
my
on.
question then and the answer that you just kind of gave there is that it actually did go over into because this is the tricky thing with these kinds of stories in general is that it's like there's this weird line that is walked with certain political individuals and how they portray politics and then how it's perceived. It's like, sometimes you could be saying something that's slightly edgy, but then it crosses a line a little bit for some people. And it's like, is it actually that like, is it actually as bad as you are portraying it to be? That sounded like it was.
Dude, well, and then yes, that one was really funny. I also want to know really funny thing. Look at this comment from Makayev, but Makayev is bad guy. He fought in the lobby. That's a really funny comment right there. But
Yo,
anyway,
nice
so it was
whataboutism there.
basically the the stories look like this basically. The sun
Okay.
will set only to rise again, and then obviously he's got a fucking swastika, like just straight up.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I didn't notice that at first. I didn't notice that at first until, but and
I did
then
not notice that either. That's great because I'm looking at it and I'm like, I mean, the stuff that he's saying in the text is not that bad. I mean, it sounds. Oh, but yeah, no, there's a massive
yeah,
where and I guess on I-70, this is just some place in some part of Heartland America over here with a big
yeah.
swastika on the mountain.
So basically, the text is kind of resemblance of the shit that he be saying. I don't know. I'm not really gonna read too much into it, but
Sure,
then
yeah.
the way that he combats the masses for being like, yo, why are you being a not like why are you being this way? Like why can't you just keep it to yourself? Like maybe don't tell us or show us swastikas. Like
I
and
mean, yeah,
then
you'd hope first that he would not feel this way to begin with, that he would
true,
be, of an elevated mindset. But if you are going to feel that
yes.
way,
If you are, just go ahead and keep it to yourself. Just
right.
but either way, so this is his response. Let me see. I might have to.
Imagine this. You walk up on me. Man, I don't like what you be posting on your story, man. Man. Maced. Maced. As soon as you get maced, door check. Come out. What about my story, bitch? What about my story, bitch? Pistol whip. Pistol whip. Pistol whip. Pistol whip. Stomp on the head. Pistol whip. Don't click on my story icon, you stupid fucking bitch.
Before you go, Beeb, post the link. Yes, you can absolutely post the link to that article. We'll look into that.
Sure
And now
thing.
go ahead. Yes, I want to hear
I,
your response.
yeah, I mean, it certainly seems like an appropriate way to respond to criticism of a story that's, Nazi focused, I would say. I think that it's completely rational just to start out with. Second of all, I just am curious, are there people who are approaching him in real life trying to like go all, Avenger mode on him? Like, hey, man, I'm going to be the one to stop the Nazi here. Like, is this, does he have Antifa rolling up on him on a regular basis? Is that what's happening? Like, why does he feel the need to do this? I wonder.
I really don't know. Maybe he just I genuinely, I mean, obviously, because he feels this way is the easy answer. He does this because he genuinely feels this way. This is also maybe this is what they call a defense mechanism, everybody. This is a guy who maybe doesn't play nice with people and knows he's not going to have many friends, even if he did have them. So he plays the racist character so he doesn't have to have friends, so he can just be alone, you know?
Yeah, I
That's just
mean,
what I think out of this, to be
well,
fair.
okay. So the one thing that I think is important to know about this guy AJ Cunningham here is that he has a very like traumatic backstory. He's another person that might, I just recently posted that video about Stuart Nickel and his
Good video,
upbringing.
everybody.
Appreciate that. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, go check that out. But crazy upbringing for Stuart Nickel in an interesting part of the world. He has a very traumatic upbringing as well, AJ Cunningham. It involves a lot of very very negative psychological abuse and physical abuse, all kinds of sort of details that I'll save if I do make the video, whatever. We don't need to get into all of them here, but my point is that it comes from a very dark place. But his father, who was the perpetrator of a lot of this, also held Nazi sympathetic beliefs. He was like a white supremacist. So you'd think that a person like that would be doing everything that they can to distance themselves from that type of mentality, if that's where the abuse was coming from. Unfortunately, it seems that he's leaning right into the same abusive mentality that hurt him to begin with.
I think I said something kind of like this in the Discord, but I really don't know if there's a way to perfectly say it. But if you noticed that he has everything, like everything that a Nazi would need in the case that somebody is wanting to talk to them about their beliefs. He has it all, like in reach of his vehicle. The mace. He's got the gun. He probably has a sword. Anything else, it's all there. I just love the commitment. He's not just out here
Yeah.
bullshitting.
I think you referred to it as his Batman utility belt, which I
Yeah,
thought was very accurate. Yeah. I mean, it's again kind of bizarre. It's bizarre, but like it feels somewhat in line with what you see. And again, MMA is a mirror. MMA is a reflection of the world and society that you live in at any given time. So like we have a broad spectrum of fighters at all times. We have a broad spectrum of political belief systems currently. It's very sad to me that this is something that is having more of a resurgence, but like it is out there. And so like, well, going back to what we were saying a little earlier about like he should just keep it to himself. Honestly, I feel like it's better that he puts it out there on Front Street, because now
well, I think that was my next point that I was going to make. You should at least be happy that nobody's like AJ Cunningham's fucking cooking. He's really out there cooking. Like we're all like, no fucking shot, bro. Like not even close. Like there's probably one dude out there who probably is like super racist, and he's probably even like, okay, calm it down. Like let's chill, AJ. But I don't know. This one definitely just an interesting situation that, again, like I said, happened
well,
at the beginning of the week.
and what's the over under on him joining Bryce's podcast as a co-host? I think
I
that this
don't
is an opportunity.
I don't even know if that's still a thing. Can anybody confirm in the chat? Beeb, I don't know why you cannot post this link. Send it to somebody on Discord. And yeah, of course, post something about AJ Cunningham being on the podcast or something. Because, I don't know if the podcast actually still goes on with Bryce. I don't know if that co host is still there listening to Bryce talk about his crazy beliefs. Obviously, AJ doesn't know how to market himself well enough, because he could have $1 billion podcast at this point with what he's got. Dude,
I'm
he could
telling
make a killing.
him and Bryce together is like, that's a dynamic duo right there with this, because it's interesting to me because like we heard about this, but like Bryce's situation blew up a little bit even beyond MMA. I mean, this was before we were doing this show specifically, but like I don't know if you had seen that like the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, had made Bryce Mitchell their like anti-Semite of the month or something like that. It was like,
Nice.
yeah, it was a little again on the nose, but yeah, I mean, AJ Cunningham under the radar while Bryce was getting all of the shine. Bryce was on the Jackson podcast because of it. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm just saying, if you're going to go full in, he's a teammate of Bryce's, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
So it's like you're already right there. Like if you're gonna go this route, like bro, take it up to the top. Like go as far as the ceiling will let you have, being this.
Yeah, this one is definitely an interesting character, one of the more interesting, because what you also find very interesting is like you have AJ Cunningham, who is a guy who lives in America, just in the middle of bumfuck probably, and he's like a true like I love Hitler kind of guy. You have a dude in Andreas Gustafsson who's got his tattoos covered up because he's like, yeah, that guy's fucking nuts. Like I should probably not have that affiliation tattoo. You know, whatever. Who knows? But it's
Yeah.
just my opinion. No, this is a dude not even close to the region. When you have people like that are closer to the region, maybe it's a little more common over there. It's like not even like talked about. They're like, oh yeah, of course, of duh. Like, but the fact that this dude is like the most pro Hitler guy and he's the most furthest away from the region is just funny. So
Yeah, I also take a little bit of solace in the fact that he actually sucks in the octagon, so we're probably not
yeah,
gonna have to see him much anymore, but, any
Jiu-Jitsu
which way.
worked him over. You
Yeah,
did.
right.
Hey, listen, you did it. You guys, you did it. All of you. We worked him
Indeed.
over.
And, yeah, shout out to Hydra coming in, of course. I wanted to throw this up here. He's like Strickland, but never met Chris Curtis. That made me laugh.
That's a
Uh,
pretty good one. Also, just like the real world, it's a very small amount of people who believe it, but I only know them for being insane. Huge shock, he's not a champion. That last part is pretty good. Huge
yeah,
shock, not a champion.
sure.
B, damn, no Discord. Well, we got a couple other links in there, but we'll figure it out. You got to figure it out, Beeb. Somebody help Beebs. Hydra can't find Bryce's podcast on YouTube. Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's. I think it's
I think
over.
it's on Rumble. I think that if it's going to be anywhere, I think it's on Rumble, and that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Didgery Dave coming in too. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much for the alley oop when it came to that article for Stort Nickel. That helped out greatly and was very interesting.
And if you were asking who this handsome fella is, this is the second greatest Nazi in America right now. Bryce still holds the fucking crown right now. He literally said, I would love to go fishing with Adolf Hitler. But either
I
way,
was gonna say, I mean, who do you think would catch the bigger fish? Is the big question.
well, speaking of bigger fish and fish to fry, what I want you
Hmm.
guys to know about this next story is that this one is unfortunately sad. This is a crazy ad that's playing right now. I don't. This is not what this is about. When you guys see the video playing,
Uh-oh.
just listen. Look at the tagline, not the video.
All right.
UFC Hall of Famer BJ Penn ordered to take mental health evaluation. Okay, so this
Yes.
is an article letting everybody know this is not a Josh Van article, but it is great that we can have him playing here for a second while we talk about BJ
Shout
Penn.
out to the potential
BJ
champ.
Penn has been legally ordered to undergo a mental health assessment to determine his fitness level of penal responsibility of ongoing criminal court cases. So, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, this is an ongoing unfortunate situation when it comes to BJ Penn. This is one that has been brewing for longer than you would think. I mean, a lot of people are only now becoming aware of BJ Penn's mental problems because of these this more bizarre spat of recent legal troubles that he's gotten into. But if you recall from a number of years ago now, I mean, BJ Penn was out there getting knocked out by bouncers outside of strip clubs. I mean, it's been building with BJ for a while. There's been a lot of speculation about drug and alcohol abuse with BJ Penn. So I'm very sympathetic because BJ Penn is a legend of this sport and a person who I think is someone to be admired for his natural abilities when it comes to combat sports. However, it's conflicting considering that I've heard a lot of negative things about him as a person, and then the stuff that's going on seems to be building on top of the details of that. So it's hard here.
I this is unfortunately one that I listen. I don't talk about it too much when it comes to like the OGs and who I really respect in this sport. But like BJ Penn really is like one of the greats that I truly think like whole like stands the test of time. Like this dude, he was so good, and he really didn't give a shit about being great. Like he was just that good, and it just sucks that he's going through what this is, and this is unfortunately happening to not just him but other ex-fighters and a lot of people in this world who are going through things that in their career where they take traumatic head damage. Like he's just really going through it, and there's no really real way that he's going to get better, I don't think. I
That
mean, I don't know how that
that's the
works, but
really tough thing. Well, I mean, first of all, it needs to be I'm glad that this is happening in a way because really I think that he needs to be assessed to find out exactly what the problem is and what it stems from. And then B, I think that he just needs time away from his environment. That would really, I think, be very helpful to him, because what I was going to say is that I feel terrible for his family. I mean, like, a lot of times
Mhm.
when it comes to situations with drug and alcohol abuse, whatever, like there's a lot of different variations of it, of course, but like a lot of times you're watching a person degrade and hurt themselves. Their families are kind of innocent bystanders, but when it comes to BJ Penn specifically here, this is falling a lot on his family. I mean, his mother has been a constant source of his aggression, or the aim of his aggression, I should say. So I mean, like, he's been like thinking that she's a doppelganger, and that, like, there's all kinds of people out to get him, and that there's conspiracies, all this kind of stuff. And the people who are getting hurt the most are his family, it seems.
To be fair, and I'm not trying to listen, I, we don't know if it's a doppelganger or not, and I'm not trying to be funny,
Come
but
on,
like
bro.
I genuinely listen. I'm one of these people who knows what's going on in this world. I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but like, what if we lock this dude away and he's right? What if 50, 20 more years down the line, he's sitting in a box that's very padded, and people are like, we got him. We got BJ Penn right where we want him. We knew we were going to do this all
The
along.
the
This is what happens to our greats in the sport. They just, man, I don't know. The conspiracies run
It's the
wild.
yeah
That's all
the,
I'm
the the
saying.
team that have put this doppelganger in place are all just toasting with champagne. Like, we did it, y'all. We did it, boys.
But in BJ's mind, like that, I think I speak a good point. It's like, if that's what he's genuinely believing, maybe we do need the assessment. Maybe you got to get some help done. Like, I would believe I need some work done if I think the world is out to get me, Truman Show style. Like, I don't know.
Well, that's the point, right?
That's
Is
just
it's
me.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, this is that he's gotten to the point of being so far gone that it's real to him, and that's
Right.
that's very, yeah. I mean, that's very dangerous. And what, as kind of what I was alluding to, it's like it to me would seem like, I talked about this on a Yama episode a while back. Like, it seems like it's a number of factors all converging to be the problem. It's the drug and alcohol potential use there. That's speculation, but I have heard a number of stories in that vein. So it's drug and alcohol abuse, possibly. It's the him himself, personality that you have underlying is amplified with this. And then, of course, potential, not even if you take CTE out of the equation, just it could be any myriad of things that affect your mind when you take repeated blows to the head. That's what this sport is. So all of those things come together to form a very dangerous picture. And BJ Penn does himself no favors by, not getting help up to this point. So I'm glad that there is some sort of semblance of help that's going to be happening, even if it is by force.
No, and I think I listen. I didn't want to say what I believed it to be, because obviously I'm not a doctor and I don't know, but there was definitely some things that BJ Penn himself was like recording and narrating in some of these scenes, and it was just like, Hydra's making schizophrenic hallucinations and delusions brought out or worsened by brain damage or drug abuse. Like, that honestly sounds very accurate to what I believed I was watching. Like, I'm watching a guy who's just so far gone that, like, in a form, like, if you've ever seen people with dementia, like, it's not the same, but it's like, it's just a different person's just emerging and they're just drifting away slowly. Like, I don't know. It's just interesting.
Yeah, and
But
and one last thing I did
go
want
ahead.
to say about this too, like, as because I mean, talking about brain damage, and drug abuse. I mean, yeah, the two together. You know what I mean? It's like it's a deadly combo by itself. And then again, any one of those three things that I had mentioned by themselves are dangerous. You put them all together, very dangerous. But then also, there had been a lot of speculation regarding this situation that, like, BJ Penn has like enablers around him as well. He has like a couple of like orbiter people.
Damn doppelgangers, dude.
They're sending
Fuck.
out enabler doppelgangers as well. I want to meet the team that's putting this all together. This seems like a really tight knit unit, man. Like, they could be taking over all kinds of stuff if BJ Penn is just the start of this thing.
You think you're really gonna meet a lizard and talk to him? See, you're worse than BJ, dude. I can't
I
believe
mean,
you.
talking,
You think lizard people are gonna talk to
dude.
you?
If you ask AJ Cunningham, I am a lizard person. So
Drew, well, dude, you know what? Listen, this is unfortunately a sad story, but I think BJ Penn, I do wish all the best, because this is genuinely like somebody that I will say is like one of the greatest UFC fighters of all
oh
time.
yeah,
Like, this dude is fucking
No, yeah, I
awesome.
mean, and look, regardless, I don't care if he's a legend of the sport or if he, he's a complete nobody. I mean, just like get right, bro. It's this kind of thing again is not only affecting him. I'm very much a live and let live kind of person. So it's like, if you want to, to ruin yourself, that is your right to do so. But you are also, by extension, ruining a lot of other people. It's the islands, bro. They have huge families. Like his family is a massive number of people that are all being affected by this. His daughters, his mother, uncles and other relatives. I mean, like those communities are very tight knit, and when these kinds of things crop up, you're taking a toll on a lot of people. Plus, the islands already have a large meth problem out there. I'm not saying that that's in this case exactly what it is. I'm just saying that the two things together cannot be good coinciding with each other. So it's like you're already in a position and a location that has a lot of problems to begin with. You're adding your own problems. You're creating negativity on top of negativity.
Yeah, and I think that's really the best thing that I can say here is just hopefully this is going to lead to the answers, or the crucial steps to the beginning process of getting things better with what's going on here. And shout out again, Josh Van, love to see you on the screen, man. You were obviously here doing a great big monumental piece for us. We didn't get to hear you, but it was great to see you talk. Appreciate it. But we're going
Nice
on to the
pivot.
next big story. This one
Yes.
is, you're gonna maybe, hopefully, I don't know, I mean, I think I know how you're gonna feel about this one, but it is just very interesting that, one, we're about to show something from a Rampage Jackson stream. I don't
Oh,
know
great.
why we're getting into this, but this is something that showed up on there.
Let's do it.
Look at that ass right in front of you.
Huh?
Look at that in front of you, like behind you.
Yeah.
To the side, dude, she's got a fucking
Let me see.
bar box. You gotta see it though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, yeah. Oh, that one. I got to tell you, you didn't know I'm live streaming?
No.
What the fuck, man? We live. I thought you knew. We've been live the whole time.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a streamer now. I'm not a fighter no more.
Tag team creeping. I can appreciate this.
Yeah, so that was pretty funny. I figured that was just a funny little video. It might have been also Henry Cejudo's staging. I think that was also a little staged by him, but that could be me.
Could be as well. I mean, hey, to me, that's a homie move to let your boy know that there's a fatty in the area. So I'm okay with like really all of that aspect of it. There's really not any problem in my estimation. The only thing that causes any kind of an issue is just Rampage bringing it up. Like, bro, like we could have just let that move if it was,
Right.
if it wasn't like that. So, I mean, Rampage kind of putting the, airing out the dirty laundry for no reason.
Didgeridoo Dave waits to look first and says, we live. That's pretty funny. And
True.
yeah, I don't know if you caught what Henry said. I tongue punch that fart box. Wow, that was pretty funny from Henry Cejudo.
Shout out to Savage, by the way, as well, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no, that was definitely a pretty interesting video. That was a quick one. That was a quick one. Not too much to say. Honestly, I thought you might have a little more and call him a creep for it, but
No, fuck that. Are you kidding? See, this is the bullshit that we live in right now. I am sick and tired of the way that like the society portrays attraction in general. It's a criminal act for a man to be attracted to a woman nowadays for a lot of men. This is why men are not bro, I could go on this. I'm not going to, but
all right,
just
fair facts. I kind of dig it.
very, very brief detour from this is that, I had heard a stat that of like, I think it was like 18 to 25-year-olds, like 50% of them have never approached a woman in person before. So why is that? Well, it's because when you approach women, you're getting instantly called a creep. When you're attracted to a woman, you're instantly called a creep. Damn, she's got a fat ass. Oh, you're a creep. Brother, she's got a fatty and I'm appreciating it. I'm sorry that that's the case, but I'm not sorry.
I think you're making fair points, but I also think those are fake stats. I can't believe, I truly cannot believe there are people out there who are like 30-year-old, like, I'm not gonna like diss on people, but like
this was from outside of like this. This definitely is not in the MMA world that I heard from that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, that was something coming from elsewhere. Could it be fake? Maybe, but I mean, I'm not that. I believe it, bro. I believe it. I mean, everybody's online, everybody's on apps. It's like, and again, there's an atmosphere where you are instantly vilified. I mean, bro, where do you like? where do you go to meet women, right? Like you're like in public, you're at the gym, blah, blah, blah. All of those places I have heard, man, if you go up and try to talk to a girl in a supermarket, that's creepy. If you try to go to talk to a girl in a gym, bro, that's creepy. She's at the gym, bro. You don't want to be talking like, okay, well then what the fuck then? What am I supposed to do? Like, fuck this. Like it turns people into incels. It's the incel pipeline. And B, it's stuff like this that ends up being like an instant knee jerk reaction of, oh, you're just a creep. And then it just self perpetuates. So I'm on the soapbox on this one, but I think it's a necessary conversation, man. It is not a crime to be attracted to women.
I think you're making a great point. It is not a crime to be attracted to women. Chat, we're going to go into you for a second. Hold on. These guys have no game and sweat and spend way too much time on social media. But like, I truly can't believe, like, as an adult, you have to like have a job. You have to like go places to get food.
Can't hit on women at your job.
Listen,
you know, I mean,
listen, you can. You just can't follow them around for 40 minutes before you ask them. That's the thing. You got to just like, it's got to be impulsive. You got to be just a chat about it. But I mean, it's insane that people aren't, but I mean, so many guys who never have. Are we serious? Approaching at the gym ain't weird if they don't got headphones on. See, there's another good one.
See, but yo, Sigma, that's your opinion of it. I guarantee I've seen the TikToks, bro, of these chicks. There are girls who will literally set up cameras at the gym waiting to be approached just so that they can call these guys out as creeps. That's a thing that I have seen before. The girl set up the camera, she's doing stretches, whatever. Guy come over and just try to help her out with something, very respectful approaching, and then it's like, oh my god, look at this guy trying to creep on me, blah blah. It's like you're thirst trapping IRL.
All right, chat. I'm gonna have to go ahead and break it to Thinker. I'm gonna have to break the news to him. He goes to the gym with NPCs. Like, that's not something that happens, I don't think. Like, there's no way. No fucking way.
Brother, I've seen it. I'm not making these things up, bro.
Florida's crazy, man.
Oh my god. Man. This dude,
well,
I don't think that you're keyed in to this part of like the conversation, it seems.
I think you're misrepresenting how to find a woman in this world, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. This next video is going to teach you everything you need to know about finding the misses. You ready?
I fought in Germany. I fought a man named Nick Hind. Right, unfortunately lost by decision. I disagree with the decision, but whatever. We went to the post-fight party of Nick Hines because, like, in Germany, why not celebrate with the Germans, right?
Right.
Met his family, was introduced to his sister, and I married his sister. Did you guys know?
Whoa, that's the story.
That's the story.
That's how it happened.
I married my opponent's sister.
What? But she's
your wife that we met earlier. Oh no, different one.
Round two is definitely a far better than round one.
Oh, I see.
I'm with you. Right, I was gonna say, but she's American. Where's the German in her? But okay.
No.
So you're
I'm on round two as far as marriage goes.
I'm with you.
So either way, I just wanted to bring, that was a funny clip up, just how he met his first wife.
Yeah, no, that's every time that Drew Dober fights, that story kind of comes circulating back, and it is one of the.
Oh, you knew this?
Oh yes,
okay.
yeah. This is one that I've been familiar with for a while, it's a classic tale, so I love it, and that is definitely a Chad move for sure. I think that he had the right setup. I mean, look, I don't want to keep harping on it because I do, I do know that we need to keep moving on or whatever. I'm just saying that I feel like this is a stronger problem than you're giving it credit for, Chase. And also, you got to realize that not everyone is as Chad as you. I mean, I think
I'm pretty suave. I don't know.
There you go. So I'm saying, you're thin, you're suave. I mean, like these are not traits that everybody has. And I'm not, look, I'm fine with it too. I mean, like trust me, I've made it happen plenty of times for myself, and I will again. I'm just saying that there is a generation that is growing up without the instillment of it, and I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. That's unfortunate to hear.
Who's the next Drew Dober? You know what I'm saying? Who you think that these young guys in the Contender Series are going to be Chad Drew Dober over here? They don't have the chin for it, brother.
If you actually want to get into a story, there was a dude on one. His name, I think it might have been Brazil. I could be wrong if it was actually Brazil or not. No, because he got robbed. There was a dude on one. Either way, in his last performance when he got 350K bots, he proposed to his girlfriend. Then they got married, And then now this next fight, he got 350K bots again, and now they're about to go on like some big vacation or some shit like that. So there's a little story for you right there. That dude just 2 fights ago, which was probably 13 weeks ago on the dot, he had just proposed to his, girlfriend, now fiance or wife, whatever you want to say. So shout out to him. He was doing better than what these UFC guys are. They're all soy and they don't know how to go to the gym and hit on women without getting called creeps. I get it. So, either way, I think the better news is if you didn't hear, everybody in the chat. Chris Paul, we do know. Hey, we do like Chris Paul. Actually, shout out Chris Paul. I got Chris Paul stuff. Anyway, not the time for it. This is better. Karate Combat is back, baby. Halloween 2025. Notice that there's not a date. Is Halloween on a Saturday this year? Do we know this for fact, or are they bullshitting?
No, Halloween is on a Friday this year.
Okay. Oh, actually, I think their cards are on Friday, so I guess that makes sense. So shout out to them. They get a nice Halloween card.
Finally, Karate Combat coming back. We didn't know if they ever were.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, it does say right there, Friday, October 31st. I know this guy, definitely know him as the champ, but all these other guys I'm not too familiar with, and I figure I know a lot of Karate Combat people by now.
Well,
so that's it's Uriah Hall.
Yeah, I would say two of them you should know. Violent Bob Ross.
Oh yeah, I guess I do. I got to read the names first.
Pena
Violent Bob Ross. Who am I supposed to know who this guy is?
Yeah, he might be a little bit before your time. He was in the UFC. He's Luis Pena. That's he's a dude who had a whole bunch of legal problems here in the great state of Florida, actually. So he's been a little bit on a wild streak. I guess he's getting back into combat sports now. And then of course, yeah, Uriah Hall.
Yeah, no, and so this one should be interesting. Obviously, we get to watch Karate Combat again if we actually get to. I mean, hey, Fridays are the fun nights, so maybe we catch them and then we talk about the fun recaps later. But or we do the rewatches anyway. I just wanted to make sure you guys know that Karate Combat is back in Miami on the 31st at 6 p.m.
What is the chance that we get to see our dude Longboat? Longboat has to be there. If Longboat is not there, it's not truly a Karate Combat event. I need to see crypto endorsements at every turn. I need to see it on the mat. I need to see it on my screen. I need to have cryptocurrency beamed into my Skull Chase partner, or otherwise it's not a Karate Combat event.
No, absolutely. And Longbow, I mean, he does probably live in Miami. He is going to be in the Miami Center where they host these Karate Combat events. Isn't it crazy that they don't really do too many events outside of Miami? Makes you wonder where the money is because you see a lot of other promotions. I know Karate Combat's still a little new, but 57 events have gone by, and you've only performed in Miami and like one other place kind of deal. It's like PFL is going to Africa again this Friday. I know that's the PFL, but they're losing money as we fucking speak. So why can't they go anywhere fun?
I mean, probably because they've got to deal with the facility and don't want to pay to take the show on the road. They also maybe have a little bit of a built-in audience in Miami, I would guess. I mean, Dirty Boxing does all of their cards in South Florida as well, it would seem, currently anyway.
Yeah, only have 3 events.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, no, I mean, Florida is a great state for combat sports, so we're very lucky down here when it comes to all different variety of combat sports. So, I mean, I guess that maybe the ability to do it is probably what's keeping them here. And also, I would say the all of that crypto money, the crypto market fluctuates very rapidly. So, sometimes they're up, sometimes they're down. They got to keep a baseline. They can't be going out to Kansas, putting on a show out there, and then maybe getting a return,
Yeah, and by the way, if anybody out there wants the insider information on what the Karate Combat crypto coin has been doing, nothing. Shit, it's absolutely dog shit. Their only up system. How about nobody cares it goes up system? It's terrible, and nobody's going to invest in it because I tried and never made anything off of it, and I was playing the game. I didn't go only up in my pockets.
That's the big thing with Karate Combat and being tied to crypto in general is just, it's like, we have Karate Combat is an interesting like case study when it comes to crypto's real world abilities, because it's like they've got this crypto system, crypto money is pumped into this thing. That's why, the joke I was kind of making before. I mean, like, you watch this broadcast, it is all crypto focused every second, every turn. So it's like, this is like your product. This is the end result of crypto, right? Like, isn't that the whole idea, is that you can actually parlay it into something real and in tangible terms? But you're ending up with this middling product, middling cryptocurrency attached to it. What's the end goal and the end stage of Karate Combat, I guess, is the question. Then this is their 57th event, apparently. So obviously it's not necessarily floundering in a broad sense, but we had an event that was supposed to happen that did not. We don't know if that's going to continue to be a trend going forward.
And now it's what, 5 months later?
This
Like,
is what I'm
what
talking
the
about.
hell?
Yeah. So I mean, it remains to be seen what the lifespan of Karate Combat is, based on how they have positioned themselves with this crypto tie.
Yeah, so we'll definitely see. I can tell you that Karate Combat is not as big of a train wreck as what you're about to see in this next slide. But I'm going to go ahead and get you into this because this is breaking news.
Oh.
Anderson Silva is facing Chris Weidman in a 6-round heavyweight boxing match on the Jake Paul and Tank Davis undercard. Think about that, November 14th.
Yeah.
What do you think about
What
that?
I've said about this is that this is the logical progression in combat sports, because the fans who are not who are I don't want to say casual, but the fans that like don't really like that love that, the fans that are addicted to the spectacle, that don't care as much about like the art of the sport, which sounds very pretentious and borderline kind of gay, but the more casual fans, for lack of a better term, they know Silva and Weidman have a history, so it sells itself based on a narrative. And that's what they're banking on by putting that on this card. Like, yeah, people know the situation between the two of them. The storyline is there. And if there's going to be any money to suck out of these people still, to leech and suck out of them, then this is how you do it. You do it in a dumb heavyweight boxing for these two guys at this age. Give me a break with this shit.
Well, the point that I want to make is that first, let's get to the chat. Just one more,
Sure.
because we did actually skip over a little bit of the Karate Combat
Absolutely.
thing. So I want to go ahead and talk about you guys with President Awesome. He is awesome on drugs. He is Dana Brown, hashtag, and maybe a leech. I don't know. He's not really my favorite, but he also didn't want to give me an opportunity on Karate Combat. I could have been on the undercard of the card that didn't happen. If you needed fights, I mean, hello, like, come on, let's start ringing some bells, like, get some calls. But anyway, also, Anderson Silva versus Chael Sonnen, they did an exhibition boxing match, and it was just them punching each other softly for however many rounds until the fight ended. That's what this is going to be. That's exactly what this is going to be.
I don't know how many times Lucy has to set the football up for the fan base when it comes to these types of fights in general. What was Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson? Exactly what you just described. What are half of Jake Paul's fights against aged, out of prime, past their prime fighters? It's that. Like, these fights are just spectacle with no payoff, and we continuously seem to be falling for this trap over and over and over again. Now, when it comes to Paul versus Tank Davis, that's a little bit of a different story, because of course Tank is more prime. I mean, he's a great boxer, and obviously there's a lot of factors that go into that, with Paul being so much huger than him. But I like the idea that this fight would be anything aside from what you just described is like, what are you expecting out of it? And like, are you going to be upset when you get exactly what you should be getting?
Yeah, people are going to watch it. Everybody's going to tune in for this, specifically for this Jake Paul part of it. But the Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman portion, people may or may not. I mean, the people like us, if they're actually going to tune into this boxing thing, I probably will not. They'll actually tune in for this fight, and they're going to hate it. But yeah, I'm definitely not going to be one to say that this is going to be. I mean, nobody in their life is going to say this is like a battle of the greats or something, or like this is like a historic matchup, a rematch. Like,
No,
nobody cares when it comes to boxing.
This is just what you get when there is a sellable storyline. That's all that this is. I mean, look, they do have one of the craziest storylines in all of mixed martial arts. That's undisputable, in my opinion. The fact that the leg break happened to both of them, and then Weidman being the person to dethrone Silva in a broad sense, like, I understand the sellability of the storyline with them. It is certainly there, but to think that this fight at this time is going to be anything actually of value in a combat sense, you're selling yourself. You're really just you're setting yourself up for dramatic failure if you are looking at this and thinking, man, I can't wait to be entertained by this.
Yeah, no, this is going to be super ass. I mean, if you've ever thought to yourself, man, I'm going to be entertained by a Chris Weidman matchup, you've mistakenly been led down a fucking false road, because this is going to be terrible. This is going to be so boring. One, Anderson Silva may or may not be a good boxer at this age, but like he's also not. He actually, you can tell that he still has some wits about him from when he still used to fight, because he's a very high IQ type of fighter. He's at the time of his career where he knows, I'm done taking major fucking damage. I'm not going to go in here into a boxing match and actually try to take his head off and let him try to take my head off. We're just going to go in here and spar. I mean, that's all it's going to be.
Yeah, no, I mean,
And that's smart on his
yeah,
end.
well, and also, I mean, I think that hopefully that coincides with an understanding that even if his mentals were as sharp as they were when he was in his prime, his body is physically not going to be able to keep up with what his brain wants him to do. That is a fact of
Yeah.
life at where he is at in his timeline. So, yeah, go out there, dance around a little bit. It's only 6 rounds. It's going to be, at least thankfully, mercifully somewhat short in boxing terms. So, you sit through it, you watch him dance around, you watch him tap up Chris Weidman a little bit. He's probably going to still be a little bit faster than Chris, I would think. And since there are going to be no kicks, there's no danger of the legs being a problem.
No eye pokes?
Yeah, no eye pokes, exactly. So, you watch these two guys do a little bit of ballet for you.
Listen, Hydra makes a great point. Perfect summary of boxing. If you expect to be entertained, prepare to be disappointed. Yeah, boxing in general. I mean, it's not just this match. Excuse me. It's not just this matchup. It's not just the Tank Davis and the Jake Paul size parody. Whatever. Boxing is just dead. Like, it's just so dead, like disco. Nobody cares too much. Dana, I mean, he started the whole boxing league, so maybe he knows more than me, but he also started a slap boxing league. So
No,
I don't know.
the comparison to disco specifically is actually wiser than you would even think, because much like disco, there is still an adamant fan base for it, and that's fine. Go enjoy your disco if that's what you like. But for fans of like actual combat with an entertainment value, I think that it has been lapped. Just like disco got lapped by other musical styles when it was more fatty or whatever. Like, boxing used to be the only way you could see combat in a broad capacity. I mean, maybe there was kickboxing and maybe there was Muay Thai in Thailand, but if we're talking about the lineage of combat sports in general, boxing was your access to watching people engage in a combat situation forever. MMA came around, the whole landscape got blown out of proportion.
See, you know what's funny? Rolly's Chihuahua made like a very he made a joke, obviously. Maybe Muslim Salikov can save boxing. And when you say things like that, it just makes me say, like, go ahead and put his thing on the
sure.
put it on the screen.
Rolling
But
through
it
them
just
kind of quick,
makes
so
yeah, it makes me say it's a shame that that's like something somebody would say, because Muslim Salikov has so much more to offer. If you put big old gloves on him and don't let him kick, you literally have just taken away such a like creative striker. Like, and when it comes to boxing, like, that's how limiting you are to these fucking people. Like, you could take a Conor McGregor, and then when you put him in the boxing ring, all he is a fucking puncher. He does so much more than that, and he's very well capable. But in a sport where you're only using 2 weapons out of the 8 limbs, whatever bad art of the 8 limbs, whatever it is in Muay Thai, what the hell is up with boxing with 2 fucking pillow fucking fisted hands? It's just dead to me.
Yeah, no, I had posted, we talked about it on last week's fights at one point, after the Canelo Crawford fight, whatever. I posted the clip of it because I really think it was a very accurate portrayal of how most combat sports or most MMA fans feel about boxing specifically. It just feels lacking when you know what the human body is capable of when you let it go completely.
Right. When you see MMA and you understand it, it's like hard to go back to boxing unless unless it was just like something you grew up on and you like understand that you watch it for a specific reason, not like, cuz just thinking boxing is better than MMA. Listen, I know it's all subjective, but it's just like it's a limiting viewpoint of being like of watching boxing and not understanding how many more strikes can be created when you use more than just your fists.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just great, and defensively too. There's so many different things. Like as humans, this is the art of martial arts. It's not just again one form of boxing. It's just crazy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so now you have two people here in this fight specifically who are well past prime, not able to use their full range of weapons and couldn't even if they wanted to, who are going to be dancing around for you. So just enjoy some bachata.
Dude, El Hydra is hilarious. Watching boxing feels like actually driving the speed limit. Like
Yo. Oh man, Hydra's the best. Appreciate you, brother.
it's just true. Yeah, it truly is hell. But speaking of boxing, we'll move into this next topic because obviously it's still going to keep going around boxing. You guys can keep talking about these old farts that are about to fucking go on. But I want you guys to understand that I don't necessarily know what this is. So Thinker's going to have a moment to yap.
Okay.
Ready.
Yes.
It is this so-called Muhammad Ali Act.
Okay,
What is this?
yes. So this actually is a perfect transition. Appreciate that. So if you recall, you may have heard some conversation about Dana White trying to make changes to the Ali Act. And what the Ali Act is a protection for boxers specifically, so that they are able to essentially not get screwed over by promotions. That they're able to be free agents, so to speak. It's a structuring of the sport that allows for greater flexibility and freedom for the fighters. Okay, so that's a very basic description of the Ali Act. What Dana has wanted to do is make changes to the Ali Act to allow for a UFC style promotion to operate within that ecosystem, within the law's capacity. So it would be an amendment to the law that would say we can have a promotion that has its own belts and negotiates, with the fighters in the way that the UFC does. It ranks the fighters the same way, all of that kind of stuff. Basically, creating a UFC style boxing promotion, which is what he wants TKO boxing to be. The California State Athletic Commission is supporting this, but if you go over to the second slide of this, I believe you click the little arrow there. There's an explanation here. It's a little bit too small for me to read, but if you want to read a little bit of that out, Chase, that would give a little bit of context here.
The California State Athletic Commission voted unanimously on Wednesday to back support for the Muhammad Ali All-American Boxing Revival Act, which would allow UFC-style promotions to happen in the sport of boxing. The commissioners voted 6-0 on the measure, with one wrinkle added that if proposed legislation becomes law, that cost of living adjustments are included within the state of California. Do I have to read a lot more?
This is the more important part. Sorry, I should have started you off
Okay.
in the halfway point.
Okay, the proposed law introduced into Congress by Representatives Brian Jack, R. Georgia, and Sharice Davids, D. Kansas, wouldn't change the existing Muhammad Ali Boxing Reform Act, but instead add a new provision that would allow for UFC-style promotion in the sport of boxing. What does that not like?
This is why that's the important part that you just read there, because basically what it's saying is that the current Ali Act would still remain, so all of those protections would be there for the top level fighters. It would just add the ability for there to be a UFC style organization in addition to the current structure.
What does that mean? A UFC style organization. Well, why is a boxing organization not that?
I mean, this goes deeper into it, but so basically, when in boxing, the fighters are the belts are. The belts are given out by the individual commission. So you have like the WBC as one governing body. You have, I think the ABA, I think is a different one. The belts and the titles are held by the commissions. So the promoters are not in the power position to have the belt under their control. So like if I was a boxer, I could go fight for the WBC title. I could also go fight for the ABA title. I can go wherever I want and not be under specific contract to say that I am a product of the WBC. That's the UFC does that. If you want to fight for the, at the top of the UFC, it's the UFC's belt. You're fighting under their promotion, their rules. So that's what it's saying, is that there will still be all of those other commissions, and these boxers have the ability to go in all of these different places if they want to. But if you want to be under the UFC's control or the TKO Boxing's control because of this, then you have the ability to operate in that system as well.
Yeah,
And that's a very simplified
okay.
version of everything, but like that's the gist
That
of
makes
it.
sense. I'm hearing you. That you actually did a good job explaining it to me. I get it
So,
now. I get
and the
it.
real reason I wanted to bring that up is because now what Dana has been trying to sell this boxing thing on is almost as the Contender Series of boxing. That is something that he has said. So I'm trying to give a little bit more context to anybody who cares. Obviously, most of our fan base is MMA fans who don't care, but just in case you were interested, what they're trying to do is make it like the feeder system for boxing, so that they can graduate champions or champion level fighters, and then those fighters can go off and become the next stars of boxing. I still think that it's a bad idea that will not go over well. The boxing world has been very resistant to everything that TKO has been doing, and Dana has been getting a lot of pushback personally because of it. But I'm just saying that this is an interesting development, because now you have the UFC basically getting kind of what they want out of this, the TKO getting kind of what they want out of this, but it still might fail.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. This one, you actually, I kind of understand what you're saying a lot more. So thank you for explaining it to me, because this is going to be interesting with if whatever this actually means, whatever I read. Because listen, I spoke, but I don't know what it actually said. But the fact that we're going to get some new interesting stuff that's going to just bring new things to the game. I mean, I'm interested to see what the new era is going to be like when things change. We have a new system that people follow, and new things go into play. So I'm excited to see what's going to change going forward when it comes to this Muhammad Ali act.
Yeah, well,
the revival.
yeah, and really, I mean, more so when it comes to bringing it back to MMA specifically, it's just interesting to me because now you've got the pipeline here for Dana to continue on with this boxing experiment. He's already had the power slap thing, which we all know has been a massively underwhelming endeavor, even if he wants to try to pump it up as the greatest thing of all time and rivaling Milan FC or whatever with their numbers, all that stuff that he was saying about the following of that endeavor. So my point is that he's already pulling himself in a lot of different directions. And this allows him to kind of go even further with that. So it'll be interesting to see for MMA how the UFC is affected by any of this, having the pie kind of spread out in a lot of different places.
100%. Yeah, no, this is an interesting story. The next story that I want to get into, speaking of laws, courtroom stuff, whatever legislation, whatever this shit is, the next story is something to do with a lot of that stuff. So we're going to get into it real quick. Sorry that it's in a Google Doc, everybody, but
yes.
This is former UFC fighter Sean McCorkle says he still hasn't been paid from the UFC antitrust suit. The quotes and whatever you want to say. But what do you think about this? You think this is BS? I kind of call BS on this. Not gonna lie. I feel like he's just not involved in this.
It seems very strange considering that we know for a fact that other fighters have been paid. That's the thing that's interesting to me. It's like if everybody was sitting here saying, "Oh, this money has not been divvied out. Where is my money?" Then it'd be like, okay, yeah, they need to pay all of the fighters. But we know, I mean, Renato Moicano has famously said that he denied the payment. Like he's whatever, a birdie reason that he has going on in that crazy skull of his, decided to not take the payout. Okay, that's his choice to do so, but at least it was offered. For some reason, McCorkle here making a little bit of waves that seems for something that is only happening to him.
Yeah, you said making waves. I actually don't think he is, because one, nobody knows who Sean McCorkle is. Two, nobody is sitting here thinking like, man, Sean McCorkle needs to get his money, man. Like, that's fucked up. Nobody cares.
That's the reason, though. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But that's the reason that I wanted to bring it up, though, is because if it is true, then there may be fighters who are not getting their just due from this lawsuit because of exactly what you're talking about there. Because they're not known names in the sport. This guy's got no major social media presence, this kind of thing. I mean, I'm not even 100% familiar with him being as long in the sport as I've been. So it's like, there might be a number of other fighters that are of the same status who are just, guys who maybe went, 0-2 and just got cut or something like that, who are entitled to their money nonetheless, but not getting it and not getting any attention to it because of their status.
I think you're making a great point. What I'll also note is, so you have this guy who can at least get on social media, say it's true. Say this dude is 100% in the right and there's other people just like him. He's able to get on Twitter and voice his opinion in English, right?
Mhm.
What about all these other fighters who don't speak English, who are just out there? They don't even know a check's supposed to be coming. They're just out. They're not even in the UFC anymore. They're off just fucking making burgers or something. I don't know what people do after the UFC, but like, he probably ain't got a fat check from a lawsuit, and he probably don't know to ask because his management don't know, or maybe the manager works. He took the shit. Who knows? It was just a letter that came in the mail. You guys don't know what happens. I don't know.
Yeah, well, and
Listen, I live in fairy tale land, so I just make up shit.
exactly. We
Like,
live in the internet. Obviously, it's
yeah,
where you're seeing us right now. But no, yeah. I mean, you make a good point though, because that money could be somewhat life changing for some of these guys if they're in different situations, different stages of life. Maybe not everybody's going to be in that exact position, of course, hopefully. But if they are, then the money that they're owed from this, which is rightfully theirs. That's the other thing. I mean, I feel like people don't care because it's like, oh, the lawsuit happened and now they're just getting free money. It's like, no, they were wrong. The whole point is that the contract was skewed in a way that was wrong to the fighters to begin with. They are owed this money, so they deserve to get it.
yeah,
And it could be very impactful in their lives.
yeah. I mean, what it says right here, 230K per fighter, possibly. That's crazy. That's life changing
Yeah,
money.
to the average
But
Joe Schmo, that's everything.
I think the next one that we're going to get into before we get into the last couple, this one is specific to the point that we were making about slapbox and the boxing. Of course, is like there's a big misrepresentation of what we are being told the numbers are and what we perceive the numbers to be. Because here is an example of what the UFC has on their YouTube channel, which is the UFC BJJ full event. And it's saying that there's 9 million people that have watched this. Don't believe this is true. I don't. There's only one person out in the world that I know watched this, and his name was Rodrigo from The Ultimate Fighter. He loved this shit. I don't know why. He loved it. But I personally don't.
I think he loved it
So,
because he was there personally.
true that also. Free front row seat,
Right. Yeah, no, this kind of goes into a bigger question of view botting in general when it comes to the numbers that you see on YouTube for these organizations. Like you're seeing massive view time and watch time and view counts for everything the promotion does. And a lot of people just kind of have it in their mind, oh, it's so big. The UFC is the biggest thing in the world when it comes to combat sports, that, yeah, all of these numbers must be 100% legitimate. But there was actually also a conversation, at least, about there being view botting on the CJI as well. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the benefit of that necessarily is, aside from the perception visually. Like, what are they gaining from the view botting? I mean, I don't think that it affects ad time because it's, I don't know.
One thing that I'll say is that when you look at when you compare those two things, you have the UFC BJJ and you have the CJI.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching the two events because I watched the BJJ. I watched UFC BJJ 1. It's on the channel. It ain't very good, but geez, I'm sorry. What I want to say is when you watch the CJI, in your mind, you could believe that 1 million people could be watching this. When you watch UFC BJJ, you don't believe 1 million people could be watching that. It's like there's just no fucking way. Like, there's just a difference. I don't know. At least the CJI, the numbers are believable. There's only 1K comments. Craig Jones did a video exposing them for view botting. Well, Craig Jones is a fucking Chad. That's why. And then he makes his own event that does millions of views. I'm an actual big fan of Craig Jones because I can tell you that ideas are hard to come by, and ideas are hard to make reality. Craig Jones was probably told for so fucking long, there's no way you're going to make your own BJJ event. Like, just no fucking way. You think you're going to be the biggest BJJ event ever? And I'm sure he was very confident. And look what he's doing now. Look what he's doing now.
Oh, yeah.
Look at me now.
No, yeah, absolutely. No, I'm also a big fan of Craig Jones, and I saw some other speculation that the view botting is potentially to combat the CJI. that's why I put that comment on screen, because I think that was what Craig was doing there, was kind of like saying that, you're trying to pump up your numbers to make this BJJ thing that you're doing look better than my thing over here. Well, I'm actually in the trenches. I'm out here like making it happen for myself. And you're seeing the result of that. Also, I had found out that apparently UFC, I have not watched a lot of this BJJ, these events that they've been having, but apparently they took the rule set from the CJI as well. So, I mean, there's,
They took Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu rules.
well, the structure of it, like the tournament structure, the way that the bracketing and everything. I don't know. The pit, I think, was also.
Tournaments are now copyrighted.
That's kind of what I thought too. You're making a good point with that. It's like, yeah, okay, they took the rule set. Like, I mean, what difference does that really make? But like,
they play basketball in every other country. You think they stole the American rule set? They stole the Georgian rule set? No, they just play basketball. It's all the same shit. What do you mean?
I mean, I guess that the idea is that they're trying to carbon copy something that Craig Jones worked very hard to get himself off the ground, and they're just trying to come in and say, oh, nice event, I'll take it. You know what I mean?
Welcome to America.
They say like, capitalism, baby.
Dude, that's what I'm like. Listen, I get you want to be the only dude having this idea and running the show. Bask in that you made your money doing it. Understand that you had the first concept and they stole your idea. Now you have to go one up them and do something else, because this is now just going to run its own thing. CJI is now just going to be a thing for a good amount of time, and they're always going to be playing one up catch up to you. So it's a copycat league. In every entertainment business, they are always following the leader. And you got to keep them on your toes.
Well, Hydra coming in with a good point on this, though, too. The rules more meant the scoring and team tournament structure that was new with Craig, plus the pit. So, anyway, again,
the Karate Combat has the pit. Come on, guys, let's not get too.
That's crazy. The other part too, right? It's like Craig even himself said, "Oh, I took a bunch of elements that I thought looked good from other promotions and put them together for BJJ." But really, and what you were just saying there, Chase, it goes back to that same point. Like, it's like, yeah, okay, it was new for Craig with influence from other places. So what? I mean, like, this is the nature of the beast, dude. Like, I would think that maybe like when UFC first started, then other MMA promotions start cropping up. It's like, oh, what are you doing? It's like, yeah, well, you're not the only game in town, and you're not going to be. You can't copyright an idea necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So this one was just interesting to talk about, especially because we know people are not fucking watching the BJJ thing. It's just a thing that I want to make note. It's not very entertaining.
Well, so
maybe it's getting better. I'll pick it up again.
So then my question to you would be, and this of course is purely opinion and speculation, but what do you think the actual numbers would be for a common BJJ event for the UFC?
For a YouTube video, I know I said earlier, like I could not see 1 million people watch it. That was just comparative numbers. I think genuinely 1 million would be fine if it wasn't 12 days ago.
True.
If it was a month ago and it had 1 million views, that doesn't seem unreasonable. Maybe 1 million people are really interested in BJJ at this point. I don't know.
Yeah.
And especially after a month or so.
Yeah. And I mean, they're in tight with the algorithm. So a lot of people will click it just out of curiosity. Maybe they navigate away after a couple of minutes. Maybe people will go back and rewatch it again if they're a student of BJJ. There's a lot of factors that go into why those numbers would be, but
Hydra's making a good point. Live, I could not see 1 million people.
Oh,
live.
no way.
I just meant after the fact.
No, not concurrent. Yeah.
Live, 200K maybe sounds about right.
Yeah.
That's max.
Sure.
That's the max peak.
And that's, I think, almost in line with what the CJI was doing. If I recall, when I was watching the last one live, I think it was around, maybe 150, but like, you know what I'm saying? Somewhere in that ballpark sounds about right to me.
All right. So, yeah, this one is crazy. Shout out to everybody who loves BJJ because and Craig Jones, apparently. He's a big hit in the chat. Craig Jones, once again. And shout out to Craig Jones.
One last thing that I'll say about this specifically, too, when it comes to Craig Jones and the UFC's version of it, you can imitate the rule set and the tournament style and all of that. You can have the same sport. What you cannot imitate, especially when you're the UFC, is the personality that event has. UFC
Mhm.
is always going to be a little bit more buttoned up. I mean, now granted, there's still a lot of personality, of course, in the UFC, but it's not in the actual like the actual structure of like the presentation. Like you have individual characters in the UFC, but you've got your buttoned up commentators, you've got a very structured format to the way that the broadcast is presented. The CJI is what it is because it is fun. And that is something that I just don't think the UFC is ever going to truly be able to capture in the way that Craig Jones has.
Yeah, true. I think Craig Jones, the last thing I'll say is it's genuinely impressive that he took the most boring and the most suspect aspects of martial arts, and he made them actually fun. Like I enjoy the CJI. Like it's actually fun to watch because fun things are going
Yeah.
on. There's different shit that's happening.
Legit. Yeah,
So
absolutely. And the second that I see, a fighter in there swigging off of a bottle, like in ring, in cage, in pit, then maybe I'll change my tune a little bit, but I highly doubt that's going to happen.
yeah, 100%. And so speaking of, well, this wasn't speaking of anything. No, I was trying to find it. I was trying to find a good segue, but there's really not a
No
good one. So we're
bridge.
just gonna, yeah, no bridge. We're just gonna roll into this next one. But this is going to be something that's going to be on every episode of this from now on, as long as we get the information. I mean, we normally are pretty good at it, good about it. So I want to just go ahead and let everybody know all 26 athletes scheduled to compete for UFC Vancouver tomorrow have made weight.
Love it.
We are ready to
What
go.
a novel concept. Every fighter actually going in, being a professional and making weight, doing the bare minimum, you would think, in this sport just to get into the octagon. All of them have done it, and it seems like such a rare occurrence nowadays. But man, I am very happy to see it. So shout out to all of the fighters going up there to fight in Vancouver, including my buddy Cody Gibson, who I checked in with and wanted to let everybody know camp went well. So Cody's going to be at 100%.
Hell yeah, I'm definitely locked in for it. Yeah, so this one, glad we can have a little moment to let everybody know that there's nothing to worry about. Everybody had a good cut, hopefully, and things should be good to go. No purses getting snatched, no 33%, no 50%, no 8 pounds over, no 4 pounds under, no nothing. Everybody on that scale looked good, except Manon Farrow, but she never looks good on the scale. She's cutting a lot of weight. You guys know this.
Weight bully. But what is the over under on the cord trip?
Oh, dude, absolutely. And it's probably going to be DeRitter. You know, he's a little goofy. I'm telling you, it's in his future. Look at the sunglasses. It's on right now. Indoors.
Yeah, DeRitter. Yeah, Rene DeRitter likes to like walk this fine line, it would seem, between being like, kind of like your everyman and then also being like
A Yuri.
yeah, like I guess maybe Yuri is a good example where it's like, because Yuri I think is more sincere than that. I think that DeRitter is a little bit more character based, but he kind of like wants to be a little bit of a cool guy sometimes, it seems. And it's like, bro, nah, man, nah. Like, you're cool. Like, I think you're cool, but like, you're not a cool guy. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference.
Yeah. No, so I don't know. The cord trip, hopefully we get another one of those in the timeline that I get to experience, because it seems like I missed a lot of the great stuff when Tony was around. That's the inevitable truth.
Well, you're gonna have to go and watch him be a boxing champion now over there in Misfits. God, the heights that he has achieved now outside of the sport of MMA.
So he faced the Salt Poppy. Is the Pepper Poppy next?
Bingo.
Do we
Let's
know?
get it. Pepper Poppy's got to be out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, speaking of nothing, and we are not going to have a good bridge because there's never going to be a good bridge to this next video. I want you guys to make sure that you have your headphones in and make sure it's not playing Bluetooth on the TV and stuff, because this next video genuinely is something that I did not want to put up on the stream, because I thought we could just talk about this one in the Discord and leave this one to the side. But no, we're going to watch this one on stream.
It is our duty, Chase. It is our duty as broadcasters in this space. Roll the clip.
All right. I am going to roll credits.
I need that video.
This is.
Tell Hyper Lot.
This is. So we won't watch it again.
Okay.
But go ahead,
Mike. This is my question. All right, because it would not be if there it would not be news. It would not be newsworthy if there was any logical explanation for it. I mean, now granted, I do understand that no reason boners do exist. There are, male anatomy. I get it. I'm one of those too. This is a situation where it would seem like there is no logical way that this could have happened, period, end of story, aside from actual quote unquote enjoyment of the situation. And I'm perplexed by it, Chase.
I also listen. I don't. This video is weird. One, because obviously John Jones and what's happening, but I think anytime Hasbullah is in the video, especially this specific scenario, it's just fucking weird. It's just fucking weird because he's playing anytime these grown men are playing with Hasbullah as if he's a fucking child. It's just a little, as again, especially with what the video fucking gets to here. It's like, this is just weird. I don't know. I'm not a fan of, because when Guru tweeted about this, obviously we got to see Guru tweet about this. I don't know if you saw the tweet. It was like, please tell me this is a fake clip of John Jones getting an erection while playing with Hasbullah. And I was like, surely this is an AI clip. Surely this is something of the AI clips.
Right.
It is not. This is and was this last week or was this 2 months ago? I don't know. This was a weird clip, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, there's, look, I mean, I'll highlight it because it is the narrative here. I mean, Hydra says another day where the sun rises, the sky is blue, and John Jones is gay.
This is next level though, because this is a man baby.
That's
like,
exactly, and that you're right. You're hitting the points here. It's like this is a different deal here. Like this is like there's a psychosexual deal with John Jones that has been speculated on a whole bunch. We all saw the Guru's video about that. That's one of the few pieces of Guru content that I actually have seen. So I'm very well aware of all of the speculation in that regard. If that is the case, if you have that as the baseline, right? Okay, John Jones, possibly closeted homosexual. If that is your baseline, this brings it into an even weirder territory and something questionable even beyond. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being gay. There's no problem with that. It's 2025. Love who you love, like what you like sexually. But like, if that is where your starting point is, this adds a layer that I think is a little bit questionable.
Yeah, and it's also because Hasbullah is normally seen just only in the UAE. Like he's hanging out, back with his boys, with Islam and them, whatever you want to say. That's the only time we ever see him. What's he over here hanging out with John Jones? Like this is
Hasbullah just pops up. Dude, what I said when we were talking about him before this clip even came out, he came up in conversation. I think it might have just been somebody referencing this clip, but before I had seen it, what I had said is Hasbullah is one of the most embarrassing elements of the MMA fan meta in recent memory, because there is no purpose that this person serves aside from having a condition. That is all that it is. If this guy was an average sized individual, no one would know about him. But for some reason, we're all captivated by him because he has the stature that he has and he hangs out with fighters. So it's like you're seeing a little man baby out there, putting his fists up and, trying to act tough and play this character or whatever. It's an embarrassment to me.
Yeah, this I don't know if embarrassment is where my brain leads after seeing this video.
It's embarrassing for other reasons.
It's just there's different words that I would say for what.
Right.
Like what questions bring to the mind after seeing something like this. Like, but yeah, I think that was maybe where the last of the interesting news portions go for this week. Is there anything that I was missing?
I just want to, and look, I don't want to get too deep into this, okay? But sorry, yeah. So Hydra says, will Hasbullah have to be ritually stoned to death for this? That's a little bit extreme, obviously. But what I will say, and again, not to bring the mood down, but that region of the world and the culture that Hasbullah and the people around him all ascribe to, there is a very big sexual repression that goes on in that culture, and it crops up in weird different ways. I've heard a lot of different versions of how that plays out. All I'm saying is that, like, yeah, that might not be what comes of this. And God, yeah, obviously, I hope that that is nothing like that would ever become a situation like this or whatever. But what I'm saying is that when you have an ingrained repression when it comes to like something as fundamental to humanity as your sexuality, it crops up in weird ways, and it reflects in different ways that are unintended because these people cannot express themselves naturally. So anyway,
Yeah. So this one, once again, I didn't really want to put this on stream. I didn't want to have to make you guys watch it with me. But they like Thinker said, these are the news. This is what we signed up for. We watched the door jam, kick in the face, mace, pistol whip, 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 whip. We watched that combination, so we had to watch the John Jones erection bonus flick.
These are the stories. We say in the title that you're getting the lore. This is the lore that you are getting, unfortunately. But
yeah.
So I wanted to. So you're saying, is this we have any other major stuff to go over?
This is the last one that I had to go.
Well,
over.
then
Is there anything else?
What I wanted to do then, and I thought that this was something that we could also introduce as a somewhat regular thing. We should crown the craziest story of the week, and I think you already kind of tipped the hand that it has to be AJ Cunningham. No,
May, did you not just watch the video?
Oh well, I mean, John Jones being a sexual weirdo does not surprise me, though.
May, it's not about it being two men. It is about one being a man baby. That's where it gets weird for
Fair
me.
enough. Yeah. I mean you're certainly right about that aspect of it. Look, chat, you guys have to be the deciders here, I guess, in the comments of the video after the fact, once this goes to where you can leave comments below, come on back and definitely drop a like, of course, and comment what you think is the craziest story of the week.
Well, Beeb's article, let's look it up.
Yes. Thank you very much, Hydra. Appreciate you reminding us of that.
Let's see.
Because I think that he was saying it was Alexiva who was the one that had the.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah. Looks like about Alexiva. This was on July 19th, 2024. UFC
can you pop it up?
Oh, yeah. UFC suspends Russian Ronda Irina Alexieva for testosterone, indicates USADA I don't know what these words are.
USADA bungled handling.
Yeah, there we go. So,
what is this? Yeah, so she got popped for testosterone as a woman.
Yeah, I mean, clearly she was on her way to transition. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, so Beeb was right all along. She already had a second chance in the UFC.
But what was the story here, though? I mean, like, that I mean, yes, she got popped, but they were saying that USADA mishandled something, or I mean, it's hard. I know it's hard to go through it on the fly. I don't want to put you on the spot. But
let's see. Handled in an unacceptable manner that resulted in layers of confusion. The positive drug test samples was collected 1 year ago, June 21st, 2023. Well, Jesus Christ. So she popped 4 years ago, or no, 2 years ago, whatever.
Yeah, they just never did anything with it. They just they were holding on to the piss cup for a year.
Alexieva was eventually notified October 31st, but not before she completed she competed against Melissa Mullins. Oh, so I think
popped afterwards.
No, so they just didn't tell her that she popped until after she lost the fight.
Well, then that's definitely a bungling. So she popped a year ago and then was cleared to fight, and I mean, like, I would think that you should be suspended and not able to fight if you pop.
While CSAD was not the independent administrator of the UFC ADP during the above described time period, CSAD recognizes the importance of promptly reporting results on samples collected in the months and weeks leading up to a UFC event before the event takes place. The organization said Friday. CSAD also recognizes that positive results reported out more than 4 months after a sample was collected and where the athlete is allowed to compete in a UFC bout in the interim is unacceptable. So,
I mean, that's a long way to basically say what Hydra's saying here. I think that they just really enjoyed the smell of that piss.
True.
I wanted to hold on to it,
Yeah, it ferments. So
yeah, right, exactly. It's different notes come out of that over time. Okay, well, so then there you go. I mean, again, as I had said earlier, it's just a double whammy of send off then, because she was terrible in performing, and if she's popping as well, then goodbye. There's the door.
I think there's one last thing that we need to look at because I saw it at the beginning of the stream. Volk was trending.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. It just said Volk. So obviously, that's the Volk we know. I'm trying
Of
to see if I
course.
can get to where it's
Well,
this.
while
This
Chase
was a
does
little
that,
bit
I
ago,
will
though, so maybe he's just not anymore.
Okay, well, while you can take your time to find that real quick. I did want to
Yeah.
say that Hydra backing me up over here as far as the craziest story of the week, saying yes, it's a man baby, but I retort pistol whip, pistol whip, pistol whip, and I'm with you on that. So again, really, I think that the moral of the story here is John Jones pulling himself into even more questionable territory, and don't roll up on AJ Cunningham. Look, you can disagree with what the guy has to say, because I certainly do, but he's heavily armed. He has a Batman style utility belt where he keeps all of his accoutrements. Just steer clear. I mean, the same way that when someone is let out into the public that is armed and dangerous, and they say do not engage with AJ Cunningham. Let him be his crazy Nazi self on his own. And when the inevitable danger is entered into society at his hand, which that it probably will be at some point, let nature take its course, I suppose.
I definitely didn't find anything. This is the only thing that I found, but I think it's not true. This is from yesterday, so it's probably not even but it's literally not this. But Lerone basically said he's not fighting him. Diego posted some cryptic shit as well.
So we're just trying to find out who
Lerone said.
Yeah, we're trying to find out who the next opponent is.
Yeah, that's all that's really into it for us. Oh, I didn't mean to fuck it up
good.
like that.
I have one last thing. Well, no, that's all right.
Straight.
I'll take over for just a second here. I did have this. I just thought this is just funny to me, because this is a story that I was covering back when this happened. If you recall, this is Igor Severino, who is the infamous biter of Andre Lima. You can see the picture up in the corner there is the bite mark that he left on Andre Lima's arm. And apparently Severino thinks that there is still potential for him to re-enter the UFC at some point in the future. I just thought that was somewhat entertaining. All of the comments here on Instagram are roasting him for it. So I didn't know if you had any comment on that, Chase.
I let him back in, to be honest. And then Makayev's probably going to sit underneath the Twitter chain and be like, oh, he can bite people, but I get one fight, I can't be in the UFC, So I think, whatever. Dana's Dana.
Yeah, that's kind of the funny part to me too, is that's sort of where I was landing as well. I was like, yeah, it is goofy that this happened, and it is an odd narrative to carry with you outside. But if he's winning a bunch of fights, this is always, you got to remember, people, the sport is predicated on winning. If he is winning a lot of fights outside of the UFC, he comes in with a pre-built narrative. That's one of those things that I so clearly in my ears can hear Mego Levy saying, he is the person who has the infamous bite, and then they toss it over to Fitzgerald, and he's like, yes, of course, it was a turbulent time for him after the bite incident, but he's back, blah, blah, blah. So that's what I'm saying here.
Yeah. No, I like that one. I definitely think he'll be back in the UFC, at least another Contender Series shot or something.
Yeah, absolutely. And then that also, by extension, raises the same question that people had about Mr. Rajah Jackson when it comes to his MMA career. Because now, I mean, that's obviously very, very different. But if the whole idea is to bring a narrative with you, that is certainly sellable. I guarantee you that there are going to be eyes on any promotion that guy is able to fight in after he serves whatever time he presumably is going to be getting now that he has pled guilty to his charges. What does that look like?
Yeah, not to get too much into the Rajah Jackson thing again, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's even about selling a story for this, for Igor Severino. Like, who cares about the bite mark thing? I think he'll just get another shot because he's probably a decent fighter.
Okay, hey, fair enough then. But yeah, that's all that I had aside from that. I mean, I think you covered most of the major points today.
Yeah, I'm excited to, next week I should have a decent amount of more things to go over for Friday, and I'm excited. Hopefully we get to do that again.
Indeed. Well, so then there you go. I guess I mean, a little bit shorter this time, but you got everything that you needed in the hour and a half. So I think that really will do it for us on this episode of the Free for All. So thank you guys very much. Active chat today is extremely appreciated. Hydra, Savage, Didgeridoo Dave checking in earlier. I saw Saratobi in there. Didn't get a shout out to Saratobi. Shout out to Saratobi, who will be on this very show at some point coming up before Tom Aspinall's big fight with Cyril Gahn. So keep an eye out for a guest appearance by our homegirl, Saratobi. Appreciate all of you guys in the chat. Of course, everybody that I did not name, TJF, Beeb, all you dudes. You guys make this happen. You make it really great for us. So thank you very much for being here. And we will check in with you, of course, tomorrow as we are going to be watching the fights live. So we've got UFC Vancouver tomorrow. I will be live with the Vitz King and Chase. Where will you be for this event?
Chase will be live streaming on UFC, not UFC. He will be streaming the UFC event on youtube.com/@CP Smalls. And of course, me and Rick Allen's two dads will be watching it together, if you guys didn't know.
Making quite the quadruple there. Rick Allen, two dads, and Chase. We'll be watching it live, of course. There is a video out now on the Yama channel about Stuart Nickel and his interesting upbringing. If you are so inclined, check that video out. And I want to tease this because this is something that I'm going to try to make happen. If you are around on Sunday night, I might be doing the sneaky Sunday night stream, and it's going to be something that is a topic that is very close to my heart, to Chase's as well, and I'll just leave it at that for now as a tease. So,
okay.
Yeah. Keep an eye out on Sunday for your boy. I might be live.
Nice. I'm excited for that. Yeah, Sundays are pretty chill, so I'm excited to go watch some Thinker stream. I like that.
Appreciate that. All right, guys. Well, that is going to do it for us tonight. Have a great rest of your night, and we will see you tomorrow night for the fights. Peace.
Game.